Hi, it's Zoe. I'm currently a college fellow at Swing Left, and something we're doing that's one of my favorite things is letter writing. And you might be wondering why we're doing that if it's 2020. Well, that's a great question. Given the current circumstances, we want to make sure to make the biggest impact possible while also maintaining the safety of us, volunteers, and everyone. So, virtual letter writing parties is a great way to organize and to mobilize people to the polls and maintain a safe distance. So I think that you should write letters because increasing voter turnout is really cool, and being able to do that from the comfort of your home is a really cool concept. And also, if you think about it, when it comes to elections, especially those local and statewide elections, the studies have shown that the increase in voter turnout thanks to these letters is 3%. And in a local election, 3% is a huge difference. That is the difference between a win and a lose in a lot of these circumstances when only like 5,000 people are voting. And to kind of frame that, there are millions of people that vote just in the state for statewide elections, and 5,000 people is like a little pea in a gigantic can of peas. So, increasing the voter turnout, especially right now, is so important. It is such an important year. It is really necessary for our future, and I think that wanting to help our community but not knowing how to is really common. And so this is a great way to do that. It's a great way to be able to make a good impact and also get to know some people. And so I write letters personally, one, because I think it's my favorite thing to do as a college fellow, though, two, because I think it's a really cool concept given the fact that you don't write letters often, and that's why I'm here to also instruct on how to do that. But also, I think it's something, because you're handwriting part of them, it's something that's very personalized, and I think it really speaks to the effect and the impact of voting, because by putting this time into every letter, you're really showing how important it is to do that. And I think it is so important, especially as a younger individual who's in college right now. The fact that my future is determined usually by a bunch of people who I have no clue who they are. They don't understand me. They went to college like a bunch of decades ago is kind of scary. And so I want people who are going to represent me and look like me to be the people that are in the Capitol and in the White House. So let's get started and let's do some awesome work because we don't have a lot of days left. But regardless, we are going to put our full effort into this. So you'll need a few things. You'll need a printer to print these letters out. And I know you're probably concerned about ink, because I was concerned about ink because ink is expensive. So it's actually, and this is an example, and I printed it on computer, not computer paper, because I ran out of that. And this is my example because of that. And I was using a public printer, and I didn't want it to do what it did to me when I showed up, and which is why I'm out of paper, which was suck a bunch of my pieces of paper from someone who had run out and they just decided not to print. So when I started the printing process, it actually did their job, their print job, before they did mine. So that was unfortunate. So we ended up just kind of using this as a sacrificial paper. So this is my example one. You'll need these, and as you can see, it doesn't take up a lot of ink. It's a really simple and straightforward letter, which I think is really great, especially for the reason that it's being sent. You'll also need envelopes. I'm covering up the person's name. This is going to be where you put their address, and then you put the return address in the top left corner, and then in the top right corner, you'll put the stamp that you can see here. That is really important. That's probably one of the most important things to make sure that it gets where it needs to go. And you'll buy number 10 envelopes, and that's just this size of envelope, and a colored pen. And I say colored pen because it shows up better on the letters because the letters are black and white. You'll also need to come up with a message, and that's something that can be kind of hard because the letters are actually supposed to be nonpartisan. They actually say in it that they're not asking you to vote for a certain candidate, so that is the probably number one no is to not put a specific candidate that you intend to vote for. Nonpartisan might seem kind of impossible because if you are like me, you are voting for a reason that's probably very partisan. So writing to people in a nonpartisan way is, while it shouldn't be as partisan as it is, that's the reality. So we're going to deal with that. We're going to work with that and work with what we have. So the prompt that you write with, it's like you're back in school. If you're not in school currently like me and you're like, oh, this is like I was younger and they would give us little writing prompts. It's that. It's I vote in every election because. And I think I'm going to start with the fact that I understand that voting in every election seems kind of intimidating and probably it would feel like you're lying. So, because I've definitely missed an election or two, like life happens. I don't realize there are elections because, especially for like primaries and for local elections, they aren't going to bring it up. And I think that's unfortunate, but once again, it is the reality of things. Those are the elections also that impact you the most. I am going off on a tangent because I really want to encourage you guys to vote in local elections. And actually, studies have shown that by starting to vote earlier and voting in those little elections, you're more likely to make it part of your life and make it a routine to do that, which means you're regularly getting to make an impact in how you want to see your city, your state, and your country governed. So, in terms of some tips I like to go through, which are the little things that I've learned so far writing these letters. In the letter, you'll see, and I will show you right now, that there is this space that you write that prompt response. And I actually want to share mine because I think it's a good one, and I think it's nonpartisan. And it's I vote in every election because waiting for the change that I want to see in our country just isn't enough. And that's a statement that I really stand behind, and I like it because it's also nonpartisan, and I think it is straightforward and to the point, which is one of the things that these letters are really nice about, is that they aren't super wordy or anything, and they don't take long to do. But when you're folding them into these beautiful little thirds that you'll do to put in the envelope, you should go and, if you have a letter right now, I'll let you pull it out, pause the video, go get the letter. If you don't, we're kind of just going to listen, and hopefully from my auditory learners, we'll get it. I'll show the paper in a second too, though. So there's a line that says there's a critically important election coming up on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. And that is the line that I like to define as the almost fold me. So what you're going to do is go route 1 to 2, 1.5 finger breaths, which is like finger breaths, or like each finger. I'm a nursing student, so I'm explaining things kind of in a weird way, so I apologize. But when you fold it, you'll fold it to just that length above the little sentence that I came up with, and then fold it down, and it should come up pretty evenly as 1/3 and 1/3. If you're not Mr. Monk, this should be a good enough job for you. So when you're doing that, as I mentioned, make sure the best way to kind of like reference the lines is to go off of the this is a critically important election, and then go about 1 to 2 finger breaths above that. And then it'll fold really nicely, not perfectly, but very nicely, and fit into the envelope. Wahia. So I think I covered everything. If I didn't, please let me know in the comments. Please subscribe for more videos. As a nursing student, I intend to hopefully post some videos where I just talk about concepts. And I think coming from a current student in a also very, I think, unedited, because I'm not editing this video except maybe cropping the beginning and the end off for when I press the button, I wanted to make sure to make these videos very realistic and giving the instructions in a real-time manner, because I think that that helps in addressing any kind of questions and stuff. And let's see, I think I covered everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm not entirely sure if I mentioned this, so if I did not, I will mention it again because it is very important. If you've never written a letter, I'm 90% sure I've mentioned it, but we're going to go over it again. When you're writing the letters, make sure to write the return address in the top left corner, put the stamp in the top right, and put the person's address that you're sending it to in the center. So thank you so much, as I mentioned, for watching. If you'd like to see more videos from me, hit the subscribe button. I am brand new to this and I am super excited to have you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.